Hey, welcome everybody. My name is Jim Carl. I am the Senior Director of the Carolina Theater of Durham. I'm also the founder of the Nevermore Film Festival. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Joining us tonight from Australia, we have the cast and crew of An Ideal Host. So without any further ado, let me introduce my co-moderator for tonight. Her name is Stacy Bell. Stacy is with the Nevermore Film Festival as well, and she is part of the jury. Hey, Stacy. Good to see you.
Hi,
there.
Jim. How are you?
Hey, guys.
You too.
So having started now, let's bring in the cast and crew from An Ideal Host, starting with the director, Robert Woods, and the writer, Tyler Jacob Jones.
Hello.
Hey. Oh my God. Do we need to?
You made it tricky.
What time? So you guys are you in Perth right now?
Yes, 9 a.m.
9 a.m. in Perth. Wow. Yeah. Let's bring in Naomi Brockwell. Naomi played the character of Daisy. Hey,
Hi.
Naomi. Good to see
I'm not
you.
drunk now. I'm perfectly sober, unlike the film. So good to see you, Rob and Tyler. I love you and I miss you.
Hi,
I
Naomi.
haven't seen you in forever.
I know.
And playing John was Tristan McInnes. Come on in, Tristan. Let's see your
Hello,
pretty face.
hello all. There it is, just for you.
Yeah. Now that is a man right there.
Do you have?
Thank you so much.
Mesmerizing. Mesmerizing. Who are we missing real quickly? There's Nadia. Nadia Collins, lead actress. Good to see you. Played Liz.
Thank you. Yes,
Now, you bring up your volume a little bit, Nadia. We can't hear you.
yeah. I think it's because I'm using headphones. I don't know if my mic is working. Should I?
Oh,
yeah,
when
we
you
can
hold it close
yeah,
to your
hold your
mouth,
mic
it's
up.
all right.
Okay.
And I should just say, Evan just messaged me and apologized. He's on a mining site at the moment, way up in the north of Australia, and his Wi-Fi just isn't working. So he apologizes profusely, and I'm sure he'll catch it later on. But yeah,
these
he couldn't make
actors
it.
and their day jobs.
He sent me his bio update, Evan did, and he said he worked in the mines. And I thought, really, that was not what I would have ever guessed.
Yeah.
So, guys, let's get started. I know that, are we missing everybody? Anybody? Everybody in the room that needs to be in the room?
I believe so.
Everyone?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
believe everybody's here.
Everybody.
Yes.
So let's just get started and jump right into it. Robert, tell us about your movie.
Oh, yeah, we made a movie. Crazy.
We did. It's still quite unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, because we wanted to make a movie for a very long time because we love watching movies and we're big fans of movies. And we
Made a fun little horror film.
Yeah. We started working together in theater, actually writing musicals and stuff for a long time, and always wanting to make the jump into movies instead. And eventually I kind of just put my foot down and said, no more. we're not writing another musical. We're going to write something that I can make and tour without having to worry about actors' availability and carrying props on ships and planes and carrying around instruments and lugging heavy things. It's much easier to send a film on tour.
Yeah, I'm loving this. I'm
Especially-
loving that I can just sit at home and people all over the world can enjoy something without having to go with it.
Yeah, so we did what we always do is we have to give ourselves a deadline, otherwise nothing will ever get done. So we looked for a location. We had been discussing ideas about what we kind of wanted to do. We knew we wanted to do some kind of horror comedy because that's what we love. And we found a location, and I put down a deposit to rent it out for 2 weeks. And that was at the start of the next year. So we're like, all right, we've got half a year to get a script written, get some actors together who are willing to work for free, and see how much money I have in my bank account to go towards buying some clothes and enough money to feed everyone. And let's just see what we can do.
And pretty much just worked to our limitations, tried to make our limitations work for us in what we created. So we wrote to the location, we wrote to sort of the people and the resources that we had, and created this fun little dinner party comedy of manners that turns into a well, everyone who's watching this will probably have seen it, so it turns into a bit of a bloodbath by the end.
Spoiler fingers. That's something that I learned from something I learned from, what was it? A Ghost Waits.
Oh, Ghost Waits. Talk spoilers. Everybody has to do jazz hands.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Fair warning.
We're good. That is good. That's the theatre background coming out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I've heard you say in other interviews, Robert, that you shot this over a 2-week period while people were on vacation.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my question because I'm an American. What holiday happens in Australia that people get 2-week vacations?
It was over Christmas, so it was just after Christmas. So pretty much all the actors I know are teachers of some kind. So so they didn't have to go back to school until like the end of January. The Fringe Festival was coming up at the end of January, and everyone gets busy for that. So I did take time off work, and then just asked people that I thought would be around and available and willing to give up a bunch of the January downtime, where the start of the year people generally don't have as much planned going on in terms of theatre, and just pounced and said, give me a time. And in the case of most people, that was great. I got to use all of my friends that I do improv comedy with, that I play music for in an improv comedy troupe. And then we had a couple of people drop out because they got actual paid jobs, and I can't compete with that. So I managed to rope in people like Tristan and Naomi, who were like 3 days before we started shooting. I was like, hey, you're in town, you're here. What are you doing for the next 2 weeks? Is it really that important, or would you rather be making a movie? I mean, so yeah.
Australians notoriously have like 6 months of holidays a year. It's they're famous for it.
Oh yeah.
So Tristan and Naomi and Nadia, tell us a little bit, and you guys can take turns. How did you get involved? I mean, did Robert literally give you like 3 days notice and say, here's the script and let's get started? Is that how it works?
I'll jump in. So I'm based in the US, so I always go and visit Australia every year, except for the last many months because of all the lockdown that's happened across the world. So I was very happy and grateful to be over in Perth when he's making this. And I mean, Robert and Tyler, I just have to say this, and I'll mention this because I think they talk about this film in terms of the low budget and pulling it together and grabbing people, and they make it sound like this last-ditch effort. They are two of the most talented people I've ever met in my life. I have known them for a really, really long time, more years than I care to count. And they are consistently winning all kinds of awards in the arts. They're absolutely well known in Australia for all of their work, and to be able to be part of a project like their first feature film, of course I was going to jump at that opportunity. So well done, guys. You put it in terms of we just threw it together, but you literally work in the improv comedy scene. You gather amazing actors that you're friends with. You just happen to be friends with all these awesome people, and you're both two of the most talented people I've ever met. So I'm so proud of everything that you put together with this. It's awesome.
Thanks, Nay.
Thank you. We miss you.
As for myself, I think it was the week before or 2 weeks prior. We were at the beach, and Rob comes up to me and says, "Hey, do you want to be in a movie?" And I thought, I got nothing coming up in the next week and a bit, and it was really fun. We got a script. I was Also learning a script for a Fringe Festival show, theater festival show coming up. So it really was like camp. Like, let's go on a holiday. Let's all go down together, a bunch of friends and new friends, and let's make a movie over 2 weeks. It was magic. It was movie magic.
Yeah, very similar for all of us. I think I got a little tiny bit more. Can you hear me, by the way? Is this coming through all right?
Kind of.
Yeah.
This. Is that
Yeah,
better?
Gorgeous.
That's
Wait,
much
That's
better.
so much better. Yeah, for me it was the same. I think I got the script like 2 weeks prior, and I didn't really know if Robert was, he was like, do you want to be in a movie? And here's the script, and do you want to do this main part? And I was like, oh yeah, okay. And as it got closer, I was like, are you actually serious? Like, do you actually this happen? He's like, yeah, you have to be there tomorrow. So it was like, yeah, it was kind of late notice, and everyone. It was kind of amazing actually that it came through, because Robert was quite casual about it. So everyone just really like jumped on board, and it came together like magic. So yeah, well done, guys. Naomi, you stole my answer. Exactly what I was going to say.
Oh, Jim, you're on mute. I was just going to jump in and say that I love that you guys all knew each other before filming began, because I think it really comes through in the acting. It's like a lot of intimacy in this ensemble cast. And I was kind of curious to know, like, how much of the characters you feel like are reflective of yourselves. Like, do you feel a little bit like Daisy or Liz, or
Oh God.
are you just complete departures?
I don't know, guys. You can tell me. I mean, I don't drink in real life, so I guess that's a big difference between our characters.
But you tell it like it is, Nay. You tell it
Yeah, but
like
am I
it
a terrible person? Is that what did I get typecast, Robert? Are you like, she's awful? We know which role she'll be good
Well,
for.
Robert can probably tell you that when we needed a Daisy last minute, and when he told me, oh, Naomi could do it, I said, like, really? Naomi, beautiful, like porcelain doll Naomi, like who you push her too hard, like a gust of wind would take her away. Like, and then was I proven wrong? Like, I'm like, we got on set and you did your first scene. I'm like, oh, that's right, she can act.
That's right, she's unbearable. Oh. No, it was super fun. I love the chance to be nice to people, because I think that I tend to be nasty to people, because I tend to be really nice to people and get them excited about things. And so just being like total, like, I don't want to swear, but like, well, I don't know how to say it without swearing, but making more chaos, right?
Yeah.
And so that was really fun. And also just getting to play like Tristan and Nadia, you guys are such a blast. And it was just really fun getting into spats, like especially Nadia, so many scenes with you and kind of getting to play into that. It was absolute delight.
Thank you. It was fun for me too. I don't know about you, Tristan, but for me, at first I felt like I'm really not like this character at all. But as time has gone on and as time went on doing the film, I'm quite like Liz in a lot of ways. I just wish, to be fair, like I wish that I was as good at organising. Like, she put on a really good dinner, you know what I mean? She put a lot of effort into that dinner, and like kudos to her, because I've never been that organised. And I recently had a party for my actual wedding, and it was like a total shambles. So I just I wish I was a little bit more like Liz, a bit less like, yeah, it'll be fine, just put some sausages on, it'll be fine. I do get as highly strung for sure. But yeah, I don't think there's any way in the world that I could like tolerate a husband like Jackson. He would have died before we started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I am not a general practitioner. I'm very sorry. I am a little bit like John, not in profession. Unfortunately, I didn't also write a thesis in blinks per minute, so I wouldn't be as helpful in an actual alien invasion. But yeah, a lot of the facets of John's character was, the comic relief roles. And I think a lot of the roles in this movie had elements of comic relief because it was a very funny movie. I slide very easily into because it's I like being light. I like being a light presence, and I loved John because he was such an outsider. I'm a Canadian Australian, so being able to be the only non-Australian accented character in the movie as Dan's character's partner, it was so much fun. It was so much fun.
You can absolutely tell that a lot of you come from an improv background. Is that true? I think I've read that on each of your bios.
Yeah.
Now, Robert, I've heard in other interviews you gave some of those tracking shots that you pulled off in that middle section of the film. The unbroken. I remember, because I'm a film programmer. I see hundreds of movies every year that get submitted to us, not just for this festival, but for several others that we produce. And I remember watching that. After about 30 seconds, the realization hits me that they have not cut away. And maybe it's because I watch so many movies that I realize that I can spot a long take probably, before other people do, because I caught on that you were doing one long take pretty early on in that shot. And then I watched you track it through the room and up and down and with all the characters and pulling focus. That must have taken, God, a day to shoot?
A day, yes.
Or 2 days?
1 day. Took a day. Took a day to figure out. Yes, the reason for that was twofold. I guess the filmmakery wanking answer is that so the reason for that is that I wanted to start the film filmically very on sticks, very solid, where Liz has her grounding, and then at the end of the film, when everything's gone off the hinge, it's all very handheld and chaotic. And that scene is really the turning point from comedy to more sci-fi horror. So we wanted to go from the camera being kind of locked and static to then roaming and moving before it gets into craziness. And it was just a way to kind of like literally smooth over the transition in the structure between the very set beginning and the very chaotic end. It's like literally kind of paving over the cracks for that. And the other reason,
non-wanky answer,
the non-wanky answer is the more practical answer was that it took 2 whole nights to shoot the dinner table scene, the scene before it, with coverage on 7 people from all different kinds of angles. It took 2 nights to get that. And if I had to do coverage on that scene from every angle, we wouldn't have had time to finish the film in the amount of time that I had the budget in my bank account to just to do it. Like we weren't able to do reshoots. I knew that cast had other jobs and people were flying out of the country. Like we weren't able to go back and fix anything if we didn't get it in the can. So I set aside a day and I'm like, all right, we need to smash out this scene. We did 6 takes and then my arms gave up. I couldn't hold the camera anymore. I just like collapsed on the couch and fell asleep and said, yeah, take 6 is fine. Let's just go with that. And that's what's in the movie. But thankfully, like the whole cast is so great. They're all from a theater background. They all knew what was going on. They performed it like a play. They rehearsed it a million times. And we just smashed through it and went to bed not too late that night, which was great.
Well, no, correction. Robert passed out on the couch in the middle of the room where the rest of us, I believe, stayed up drinking for a few hours. So,
There are photos. There are photos of me like passed out on the couch, completely asleep, and you're all just wine and cheese on the floor of the set.
Yes.
Just and I had no idea. I'm like, I was there.
That's the thing. We were living on the set.
Yeah, much like the Catherine's Lullaby gang were saying, it was like a camp because we had that house location, and we all, and it's like 2 hours outside of Perth, the capital city here. So we all were down there, and we didn't have anywhere to go. We didn't have anything else to do. It was just the farm and the farmhouse, and we were all staying together. So yeah, it was really just a fun, intense week of everyone up in each other's faces trying to get through this thing and figure out how to put everything together.
What was the town that you shot in? The opening scenes as you're doing the driving into town, you stop at the bar?
That town is, so we shot in a place called Donnybrook, and the town that we stopped in, which is literally just like a few, like the pub and one or two shops.
It's pretty much what you see
on the street.
What you see is the whole town.
Like it's the highway, but there's just that. It's called Kirrup, and I think you see in the background Kirrup syrup. They're famous for their strange alcoholic beverage that nobody quite knows what's in it. But it's like a blink and you'll miss it traveling down the highway. And it was nearby. It was only like 10 minutes away from the farm that we were staying in. And I just, when we arrived, I just drove down there and went into the pub there and said, hey, would you mind if we came in here on like the weekend and just shot a scene for our movie? And they were like, yeah, sure, that's fine. No one's ever in here. I was like, great, because it was like literally like you see in the film, it's like dead. But of course, when
doing it on a weekend,
we shot
next
it on
to a big highway down south in this wine country.
It's like it was the holidays and it was a Sunday, and suddenly it was like there were bikers everywhere, and there was families day tripping, and there was hundreds of people walking around the streets. So we had to shoot that scene that day because
didn't have any other time.
Didn't have any other time with the with Sam Longley and Andrea Gibbs, who plays Daryl and Dawn. They literally just came down for that one day. So we shot those scenes with them, and then I went back the next day and just put my camera on a tripod and got plates, and I ended up rotoscoping the characters and painting in an empty, desolate background.
The next day when it was dead, no cars going past, no people anywhere.
Yeah, like it was just that one day that we were filming there that it was there, but we don't have room in the schedule to do things later. So yeah, so there's a lot of invisible VFX work in that scene. Yeah, Naomi, your hair is very frizzy.
Thank you.
It's very hard to paint around.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We'll know for next time, right?
Just shave it off.
Yeah. We shoot it on green screen. The next film I'm
My
shooting on
hair's
green
terrible
screen.
on green screen.
Yeah.
So what was the most difficult day of shooting, and what was the most memorable day? Or let's change that question. What was
the most memorable day?
What was the funnest thing you did on set?
Everyone, do you remember the day that the dog came?
Doing the most. What?
Does everyone remember the day that the dog came to set?
Yes. Yes, I do.
The dog came to set. There was a dog, and it ran up to the farm and it sat on the porch and wouldn't leave. And he sat there and he got pets from everyone. And we all said, when we look back at this film, this is the day we'll remember. The day the dog came to set. Yeah. Yeah. That was a great day.
We all needed it.
It was right. It was right towards the end of the shoot. Yeah.
Kristen's sitting there going, and I don't remember it at all.
No, yeah. That was a good day. Yeah.
The day that Tristan, that John died, I think filming that feels like that was a real moment in time that morning.
Yeah, because Tristan got you had another job on that you had to leave for, and so we all got up at super early that morning. We're like, all right, this scene that we were going to shoot, let's just in order for you to have the time to actually get back to Perth to be there for the rehearsal, we were like, all right, we better shoot this at like 5 a.m. then. So we got up early and crammed it in 2 hours and like applying all the makeup and stuff and just like doing one take of everything. And like, I think we got it. We shot all Tristan's stuff and then ditched him and then shot the other side.
In the actual timeline of the film itself, I think that would be happening at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
It would have been. So
the light was right for the scene and everything. So it all came
very
together.
serendipitous.
I had blood all over me going back to Perth, trying to not get weird looks on the train. It's not real. It's not real. That was my most memorable moment was filming your death scene, Naomi, because I recall that everyone else wasn't a part of a lot of other characters weren't a part of that scene, but the lighting was it was such a dark night out in the middle of the Australian country, and it was so cinematic in a very real way, in that the lighting kind of bouncing over that lake that you were being drowned in was just gorgeous, and everyone that wasn't in the scene kind of trekked out to watch our friends being plunged into icy water.
It was very warm water, actually.
That was
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It wasn't
I
icy.
remember
I didn't
like
have
just
to.
getting stuck in that mud and just
Yeah.
like apologizing profusely to Dan when we were just holding him under the water, and then we're like, "I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Just like tap out if you need us." Like,
lots
There
of
were things in that
mysterious
water.
creatures in the water.
yeah.
Like, I don't know if
Very
they were frogs
unpleasant.
or fish, but it was like a constant thing.
We should
Well, just
give it
before that, remember? Sorry, go ahead, Rob.
we should give a shout out to Dan because it's his birthday today. He plays
Is
on
it
Kyle.
really?
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Dan.
And he told me like he went back after that scene and
I
showered
hate this story.
and to have to wash off all of the mud and crap, and he was brushing his pubes and something fell down and wriggled around and went down. the drain.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Dan.
birthday,
We're
Dan.
talking about your pubes.
See from yeah.
I remember we
Yeah,
were in a ditch, and Nadia and I were sitting there, and like we're meant to be really scared, and Dan's like behind us, and he's like, meant to catch us and all of this, and we're sitting there being scared, and then suddenly like a frog just like jumps in front of us on Nadia's phone. It was the most terrifying thing in the world.
Yeah. Oh, the wilderness.
The wilderness, Australia. We're very lucky that it was a frog and not like a tiger snake or any of the other plethora of completely dead.
I had my friendly
creatures in
snake that I saw
Australia.
every morning.
Yeah.
I would drive into town, about 20-minute drive for
Burka?
coffee every morning.
Mm.
And there was this snake at the same patch of road that would just be sitting in the middle of the road, sunbathing every morning, and the car would come around the bend, the snake would rear up, look at you and wriggle off. And I saw him every morning.
I saw that snake every morning as well, Tyler, but I was jogging. So
Yeah.
I was like,
Braver than I wouldn't see it every morning if I was jogging past. I would never jog
jogging.
again.
No.
I slept in every morning. I was just asleep every morning. I slept in.
Well, I think there's some people who are curious to learn a little bit more about the special effects in your film, and especially about the creatures that you created for this film. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Spoiler. So
Lots of
this,
spoilers here.
yeah, I wanted to do everything as practically as possible because visual effects is hard and takes time. So most of it was this is like a ping pong ball and some chopsticks that we put into a mold, and had a friend who does it professionally make a silicon mold, make a silicon model of it, and we made a couple of them and just like we just throw them at the actors or tie fishing wire around them and reel them in so that they would bounce across, or just simple things like that. And then I'd like shake it around on a green screen and comp it into people's mouths. Just really simple things like that. So most of the effects were done like that. And then we had some wonderful makeup artists give us pre-made prosthetics of cuts and some protruding bone pieces that and there was 2 days on set where we had a makeup artist come who lived nearby in the area. She came to the set, and that was the day that we had 5 people on the crew instead of 4. Very exciting. She came in and like glued pieces on, cuts and things and knuckles. And yeah, that was all kind of towards the end of the shoot, when most of the actors had gone home already, and there was just like a couple left alive. And those were the days that we got the blood out. So most of it was done practically. The only bit of computer graphics in the film is the trail of the meteor when it hits. That's the only that's a particle system that I did in After Effects, and then most of the rest of the film is just comping in After Effects, putting bits together, which is something I just self-taught and now do it for a living. So I have been doing it for a long time. So yeah, it's not like I just picked it up. I do this professionally. So so I'm more comfortable in post because that's the world that I work in. So I was more confident like after the shoot. I was like, once I've got everything, I'm like, all right, what do we have and what can I turn it into? That's when I was like playing around just myself on my laptop and putting it together. And that was a long process, but it was fun for me.
Joyous year.
Yeah.
So what's next? What are you guys are working on next? What's the next big project for each of you? Robert and Tyler, do we have a sequel coming?
Not a sequel.
A sequel in spirit that's going to be on stage, but I know you don't like to talk about stage work.
Yeah, we do have we have a musical coming out in May. That was meant to be out last year, but COVID.
But Tristan's in that.
Yes, he's playing an alien in that.
I'm very excited to puppeteer an alien in the middle of a musical, and all this gorgeous musicality is happening around me, and I'm just playing with a puppet. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a fantastic show.
Yeah.
But film-wise,
we're hoping we've been applying for grants for development money to try and actually get paid to do what we want to do.
That'd be nice.
It's a novel idea, I know, but we have like a whole roster of pitches, and we've narrowed down 1 or 2 that we really want to focus on for the rest of this year.
Yeah, so we're just in the development phase of the next few projects, but there's some really interesting stuff that we're excited about, and hopefully we'll be able to talk about it soon in more detail.
Yes.
Me?
Everyone else?
Naomi?
Yeah, Nadia, I want to know about all of your shows. I see pictures on Instagram all the time of all the awesome stuff you're doing. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, for me next, that I've just finished a Fringe show, a work in progress show, and maybe I may do that again in the next few months, but possibly not. Besides that, the future is wide open. So nothing, absolutely nothing. I'm working on nothing. I need
I'm in the same boat. I've got a lot of puppetry. I'm currently in 2 different puppetry theater shows here in Perth, and after that, opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Struggling actors.
Yeah.
Naomi, how about you?
Yeah. I actually started working with the director I was working with in the past over here in the States. So we thought that during COVID we would write this super simple script and we would finish it and then we would film it before everything opens up again. And I think we had grand plans, but then the budget kept getting larger and larger and the sets kept expanding. And in the end, we're just like, okay, everything's opening back up again now, and this isn't going to happen. So that got canned, but now I'm kind of back into normal life again. Essentially, I co-host a show about cryptocurrency on a platform called CoinDesk, and then I have a tech channel that I make content about privacy and tech and stuff. So just doing that.
Stacy, do you have any other questions for the cast and crew?
I do have some, but you stole my one about the long shot there. That was something that I noticed as well. I was like super impressed by. But just like, what's next for this film? Like, where are you guys on the festival circuit? Is there going to be a point in time where people can find it on DVD or?
So at the moment I'd say maybe like halfway through a festival run. I still have a whole bunch on Film Freeway that for the rest of the year that I'm waiting to see if we have any chance of getting into or not. And we're still looking for anyone that's interested in some kind of distribution, hoping that I might get some notice from it being in festivals. So everyone, if you do like it, please make a noise and like our Facebook page, tell your friends, tell people. That's the best way to get people to know about it. And if nothing comes of that, then I'll probably just end up self-distributing it on Amazon Prime or something, Vimeo.
Still a lot about the world that we're learning along the way.
Yeah, we just wanted to make a film. We didn't know you had to then sell it afterwards. No one talks about that when you go in film school. That's ridiculous. So yeah, no, we're just like rudely awakened to this now. So
we're not natural. We may be credited as the producers, but it's not something that we take naturally to. So
no, we're not.
But we're learning.
Definitely
learning, but next time we'll have a real producer on board.
Yeah, next time we want to have an actual producer.
Oh gosh, you can't. I mean, you guys did an excellent job. You can't tell any. There wasn't any additional producers involved. So
thank you.
So thank you guys so much. We're going to wrap it up a little bit, but before we go, any questions or any comments you'd like to say to each other now that you have each other online?
It's great to see everyone again. Please share that we're about to have a screening in Perth, a physical screening. So
nice
let everyone
to actually be in a real world where everything's not locked down and you have like no disease or viruses or anything.
That's one of the privileges of living in the second most isolated capital city in the entire world, is that we opened up quite soon. So
you guys are like in an alternative reality. It's so your 2020 was so different.
You're very lucky.
Yeah, we know it. We feel very privileged in that regard. But no, other than like, I miss everyone except for Tristan, who I'm seeing quite often because I'm rehearsing a show with you at the moment.
Tristan, because he's awful.
And it's just been lovely to anytime we get to talk about the movie. It's lovely. So yeah.
I'd like to give a big shout out to Monique, to Stacey, and to Jim, and everyone at Nevermore. Thank you so much for having us. I have smashed through all of the features that you have on offer. And all of the short films. I've watched them all. I love them. I think everyone's done such incredible work. Everyone that's watching this, you've still got the rest of the day left, I think. So make sure you get out there and see as much as you can. There's some really great stuff. And
But
also,
that's the thing; they don't have to get out anywhere; they can get it.
well,
That's
yeah,
all.
it's great. And please be sure to
Stay in.
vote in the audience voting competition for whichever films that you liked. Give some love out there and make some noise, because us filmmakers, we're not able to see these films with you in person with an audience. We're not getting that immediate reaction and feedback. So we're sitting here refreshing Twitter and Letterboxd and IMDb reviews, and we're just waiting to see, like, did it work? Did
Somebody like me?
Yeah, so please validate us. We need that. We have fragile egos. And thank you so much for being part of the festival, everyone.
And that's something that's really important to remind all of our viewers. Be sure to go out to IMDb and write a good review for these guys, an ideal host. So to Nadia, to Tristan, Naomi, Tyler, Robert, and also to Stacy, thank you so much for joining us tonight, or morning for you guys. For those
We're
of
in
you
the
there.
future.
It is the future.
Hi, tomorrow.
We still have 24 hours it's 8:43 right now here on the East Coast in the States.
Right.
So people still have about another day, about 28 more hours to unlock the film and watch it. And if they do unlock and start watching it in the next 24 hours, they have 3 full days to finish it. So you can also take advantage of that. Go buy the film. If you don't have time to watch it right now, unlock it, watch the first minute, pause it, and you have until Sunday to finish it. So, guys, thank you so much. Really. Love
Thank
your
you.
film.
Thank
You guys have been
Thank you, Jim.
wonderful to work with.
Great, thank you.
Thank you for
And
having
thanks
us.
for all
And
of
I miss
the-
you guys.
Yeah, I
Miss
miss you.
you.
Miss you too, Nan.
All right.
Nice to meet you all.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much.
Good night, John Boy.
Night, Mary
Johnny
Ellen.
boy.